بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. قال عز وجل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. وقال عز وجل ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الكيس من دان نفسه وعمل لما بعد الموت كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. My dear respected and honorable brothers, elders, mothers and sisters, traditionally you'll find in a lot of masajid people will be talking, they may talk, have spoken about already, and will continue to address the topic of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's a very common topic, and more so now than ever you'll hear it because it's the month of Rabi' al-Awwal, which is the Islamic month when Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was born in. To encompass and talk about the whole of his life is impossible. Every week we come here, we talk about sunnah, we talk about hadith, we talk about the deen. In essence, this is the life of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And when you mention Quran, you mention a hadith, this is the Quran himself. He mentions in the Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha was asked, okay, tell us something about Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, tell us about his akhlaq, tell us about him as a person. And she just mentioned one statement. She said, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ al-Quran. That it would be sufficient to say that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was an embodiment of Quran. He encompassed the whole of Quran within himself. This was the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who today, alhamdulillah, we are fortunate, and let me add this word, very fortunate to say that we are Muslims. You know, bigger than the blessing of Iman, there is no blessing on the face of this earth. This is the greatest ni'mah Allah Ta'ala has given us. Last time we spoke, I spoke specifically about the issue of atheism, and about people leaving Islam, turning away from Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's Mubarak life, turning away from Allah. If you will study Islam passionately, wallahi, you'll come to the conclusion that Islam is haqq. Our problem is we don't study Islam. Islam's done something traditionally, rasmi. Or if there's a jinn in the house, you found the Mawlana. This is the sort of ta'alluq we have with deen. Very basic, very minimum. Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in, they were in a time when if you accepted Islam, if you went against the customary norm, then this would be a big issue because people would start boycotting you one by one. To such an extent, many Sahaba radiallahu anhum, when they accepted Islam, they had to go through a lot of difficulties, a lot of taqleed. They went through a lot of mujahada for the sake of Islam. And today, because Islam was given to us on a plate, we have no qadr, no value for Islam. Let's ask honestly, what sacrifice have I made for Islam? Okay, you know what it is sometimes, you know, when I went to Pakistan a few times, people would get shocked and they would look at us, and God knows why they would look at us as decent individuals, but they would say, mashallah, you come from England, you know, and in their minds, it's because they've seen films and they're thinking life is like what they see in the movies, and they're thinking in that country you stay firm on deen, it's a miracle within itself. All I say is this much, it's no praise of my own, but I'm going to say simply, whenever you make some effort for deen, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. This is the promise of Allah. When you make mujahada and sacrifice for the deen of Allah, Allah will open up not one way, many ways. لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ. Many ways we will open up and guide the individual. Many ways Allah Ta'ala will open up. When there's effort of deen, there is taraqi of deen, there is the benefit of deen. There is the benefit of ourselves as well. When there's no effort of deen effort stops spreading, halat of Muslims drop. Look at South America, South Africa, Muslims flock to their areas at the same time. Why in South Africa you have tens and 20, how many hundreds of makatib and madaris and ulama graduating here, but in Brazil we see our 2 million population, 1.9 million became murtad. Why? Because the effort of deen was done here, it was not done there. When the effort of deen is done, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down rahmah. He sends down His special karam and grace. Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi radiyallahu anhu was one of those individuals who accepted Islam in the very, very early days in Makkah al-Mukarramah. He had a very high position amongst the people of Daws. Daws is a qabila, a family. So he came to Makkah al-Mukarramah and was common. Even the Arabs of the Jahiliyyah, they used to make tawaf around the Kaaba and they used to do some ibadah, or what we regard as ibadah. We have similar remnants of that left today. Like for example, we see the tawaf or Kaaba and so on. Anyways, Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi was called by the mushrikeen of Makkah, who were the leaders of that time, and they said, listen, don't listen to this man Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't listen to him, he's going to poison your brain. He's evil, he's a magician, he's going to cause tafriq and he's going to cause rifts between your families. Don't listen to whatever he's got to say. So Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was afraid. He mentioned, before I went into the haram, before I went into the Kaaba, حَشَوْتُهُ فِي أُذُنَيَّ قُطْنًا. He mentioned, I got cotton wool and I rolled it up and I plugged it into my ears so I can't hear nothing. Why? Because I don't want to come across this man Muhammad and him telling me anything. I don't want to hear anything. So what his situation was, حَشَوْتُ فِي أُذُنَيَّ. I plugged my ears with cotton so that I couldn't hear. He goes, when I went, I was making tawaf around the Kaaba. Then what happened was, I thought to myself, Kiyar, you're a sha'ir, man, you're a poet. You know what's happening, you can handle this. It's not an issue at all. So he goes, I unplugged it from my ear, and what did I hear the Prophet ﷺ say? He went, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. When he read this verse, Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi, his heart moved. You know, Quran doesn't affect us. You know why it doesn't affect us? Because we spend too much time in everything else but our deen. Where's Quran going to affect our hearts? How is Quran going to affect our heart? What have we done? What have we learned? Tell me. How much Quran have we read? Let's ask today, Jummah, Yawmul Jummah. What did we read today? خير يوم طلعت عليه الشمس يوم الجمعة. Hadith said, best day is Yawmul Jummah. What did I read today? What did I read since Ramadan? Quran doesn't move the hearts of this ummah because we have disconnected ourselves from the Quran. All Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi had was قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned the last two quls, yani the last three surahs. Tufail bin, when he heard this, he was, they say in English, mind blown, gobsmacked. And then he went to meet him and he spoke to him. He said, what are you inviting to? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him da'wah towards Islam, tawheed, oneness of Allah, akhirah. Wallahi, a few minutes later, he said, I'm ready to accept whatever you have to say. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. I bear witness that you are the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then he said, I want to go and invite my people towards haqq. I want to invite them towards Islam. Ya Allah, he mentioned, O Prophet of Allah, ask Allah to give me help. I want to go and invite them to this same message. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made dua. He mentioned, Oh Allah, give him a sign, give him something where he can go and invite his people. Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he went back to the people of Daws. His qabila. This is not just an average Jawi qabila, massive numbers of people, hundreds and if not thousands of people. So he went there and he called everybody. Like Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when revelation was given, he called all his family. Ya Ahla Makkah, Ya Ahla Quraysh, all the people of Makkah. All one da'wah, one invitation towards Islam. And his own uncle was the one who went against him and turned against him. Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he calls all the people and he says, listen, I've come from Makkah and I've met a man called Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He comes with the oneness of Allah. He comes with the fikr of akhirah. He gave them full da'wah, full. Every single person in that gathering rejected him. Everyone. They rejected him. He was by himself. He went to a few of his family members and his dad spoke to him. And his dad had a lot of muhabbat for him. So he said to his father, look, until you don't accept the creed of Muhammad, I don't want nothing to do with you. He went with a lot of josh, a lot of jazba, a lot of, you can say, super fikr he went. After making an effort for a long time, he goes back to the Prophet ﷺ and he said to him, Ya Rasulullah, Inna dawsan qad katharat wa abat fad'u Allah alayha. O Prophet of Allah, I went back to my people of Daws and I invited them to the oneness of Allah. They're not responding to my call. They're not listening to what I have to say. So do me a favor, make dua that Allah should destroy and kill them all. Listen to the words. فَدْعُ اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ. Make but dua for them, that they be completely finished. إِنَّ دَوْسًا قَدْ كَفَرَتْ وَأَبَتْ. They just denied me. They didn't want to listen to what I had to say. So he went back with a heavy heart. No one listened. Make dua, Allah should destroy these people. This is the way he said to the Prophet ﷺ. So then Rasul ﷺ, he faced towards the Qibla and he was about to raise his hands. A few people accepted that, after this anyway, but what happened was that he raised his hand towards the Qibla direction and then he made this dua. He mentioned, Allahumma hdi dawsan wa'ti bihim. Allahumma hdi dawsan. Oh Allah, don't destroy the people of those, but guide them towards Islam and bring them. So then Tufail bin Amr is saying, no, I'm saying curse. He wanting to curse and Rasul ﷺ is not cursing. He's saying, oh Allah, guide them. Give them hidayat and give them guidance. Guide them to Islam. So he said to him, look, when you go back to your people, this time now do da'wah with hikmah. Take it easy a little bit. Take it nice and easy. Go back and invite the people with hikmah and muhabba and you'll... Then Tufail radiallahu anhu went back a second time. And when Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a few years later when he made the hijrah, Tufail came and he brought 80 families with him now. 80 families. All people accepted Islam. From amongst them was Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was undoubtedly the biggest muhaddith that this ummah has ever seen. The da'wah was given correct. So it affected the hearts of the people. He said, I'm going to go back, I'm going to go and I'm going to make effort again. Rasul has to go. So when he went now, hikmah, muhabba, called them to Islam. Look, it's easy to say, but for them times was tough because you're going against the family norm. For example, I can only equate it to something similar, very small level. If you have a family who's very, very anti anything but their own and you accept Islam, you've broken off from the family tradition, you sold out, you're nothing to do with them anymore. This was a situation when you broke away from your family, there was no defense, there was no assistance, you couldn't run to help. Let's just say you was attacked, who would you go and ask help from? You're by yourself, you're a lone man now. But people put everything on the line and they said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, we're ready to give everything for the sake of Allah, because the haqq has entered into the heart. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was really happy when he came. Many people came into the fold of Islam. My dear respected brothers, this is the month of Rabiul Awwal. People are going to sit and they're going to tell you stories about Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Undoubtedly, every majlis is a beneficial one. But the greatest fikr that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had was how each and every person can be safeguarded from the fire of Jahannam. There was a Yahudi, a Jewish boy who was dying. And the Prophet ﷺ was informed that he's coming to his end. He went to his house. A young Jewish boy. He may turn out, subhanAllah, it will put ourselves in that predicament. Put ourselves in that situation. How would we respond? How would we respond now? Our next door neighbor is Jewish, he's dying. Do we go and make khidmah? Do we go and make ikram? Do we go and see these individuals? Look at the English people that live in our streets, who gave us passports, who took us out of plight, who gave us benefits and houses and everything. How do we repay the people? By doing more for them? By doing haram in the society? By ripping off the system? By selling drugs? By becoming crack dealers and heroin dealers? And this is how we've repaid society. No wonder then people want to get rid of it because we become a plague. But when we become real ummah, real ummati, a real follower of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we do it with proper haqq, then people will wish more come. Because they say they come with rahmah, they come with mercy. If anything, we've destroyed the deen. Deen has not tainted. We tainted deen. We tainted Islam. We painted the bad picture. There's nothing wrong with Islam. There's nothing wrong with the deen of Allah. Hazrat Mufti Muzaffar Hussain Kandelvi rahmatullah alayhi, a scholar of India, many years ago there was an incident where Hindus and Muslims had an argument. In India there's a state called UP. I think it's pronounced as Uttar Pradesh if I'm not mistaken. UP. And in Kandala, a small area, there was an ikhtilaf between Muslims and the Hindus over a piece of land. So what happened was that the Hindus went to court to put a complaint into the judge, this land belongs to us. The Muslims went and they said, no, it belongs to us. So there was ikhtilaf over a bit of land. So what happened was, the judge, he's a British judge, English judge, he asked the Hindu guys, he said, is there anyone who you will believe their testimony? Anyone, who can you call that if they say it belongs to the Muslims, you'll happily accept? Have you got anyone for yourself? They said, yeah. Call Mufti Muzaffar Saab. Mufti Muzaffar Hussain, call him. Guys, who asked to call Mufti Saab? Not the Muslims, the Hindu did. Call him. And if he lays claim to this land, this belongs to Muslims, we'll wipe our hands clean. And it actually did belong to the Hindus, it wasn't the Muslim. Muslim did Najais Qabza. Qabza party, group. And this is the problem, you see. We people buy land, they say, Dwar Chara. Qabze group Ponch Lasan. When you buy a plot of land in Pakistan, you have to put a wall around it because you're afraid someone's going to come and rob your land. This is supposed to be a Muslim, Pakistan, Islam Abad, Muslim country. Saudi Arabia and other places, every country's got its own negativity. Let me not start ripping anyone's individual nationality. I'm half Pakistani, so I'm talking against, if not my own side of the family. But this nationalism has to stop because we're Muslims. If you're Sri Lankan, you're Pakistani, you're Bengali, you're Algerian, you're Marathi, from Maghreb, you're from Tunis, it's all the same. We're all one ummah. And until we don't think wider like this halat of this ummah will never change. Mufti Muzaffar Saab was, he was called. Call him. If he says that it belongs to the Muslims, no problem. We'll accept. Subhanallah, Judge Saab called Mufti Saab. Mufti Saab, tell us. Who does it belong to? Because they're saying that they will accept your fasla. He said, honestly, it belongs to the Hindus. This is his answer. Now someone would say, Astaghfirullah, you sided with the kuffar, la hawla wa la quwwata, fatwa of kufr, and Mufti Saab ka nikah bhi toot gaya. People would go to extremes and they'd say this is the state of the Mufti Sahib. But he said, no, we have to be honest. It doesn't belong to the Muslims. This is Najais Qabza. It belongs to the Hindu guys. It's their land. It's theirs. Bichara, he had a stick after that. But the judge mentioned this sentence, Allahu Akbar. When I read it, it kind of shook my heart because it depicts what a Muslim really is supposed to be. The Judge Saab said, the Muslims have lost, but Islam has won. Do you understand the sentence? They were speaking in Urdu. I've got it written down, but I'm just translating. He goes, "Bhai, Musliman to haar gaye, magar aaj Islam jeet gaya." Muslims lost lay claim to the land, but today Islam prevailed. Why? Because we saw the real akhlaq of a Muslim in our court today, the real akhlaq of Islam. It was this akhlaq which Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to teach people. It was this month of Rabiul Awwal, instead of filling up our plate with halwa and naans, we fill our houses up with the remembrance of Rasulullah, the tazkirah of hadith. Talk about the life of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam within our homes. You cannot cry enough to lament over the lack of ta'alluq of this ummah with the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Take an average boy of the age of anything from 12 to 18 and ask him and quiz him about football, quiz him about boxing, MMA, UFC, and the same question, pound for pound, you pose a question to about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ask him who plays for Chelsea. Tell me name 5 players. Now name me 5 Sahaba who were the Asharatul Mubashara. They won't know. Whose fault is this? Maulvi Saab's fault? England's fault? Or our fault? Because I am a parent, shouldn't I have educated my children? Shouldn't I have educated my children? Money we've provided for, mashallah. People in this community have houses upon house. We've not left any deficiency there. If there is deficiency, by the qasam of Allah, we've made a deficiency in the deen of Allah. This is where we're most deficient. I'm not negating business, do it. I'm not against job, do it. But if we are going to bring in society Amr and Bakr who are going to be vile to society, who are going to break and flamboyantly and openly break the commands of Allah, degrade Islam, then forget the war about anything outside of the UK. We've got a war in our own homes with the people between Allah and themselves. Every day we are seeing this, my beloved brothers, and this is the perfect month and opportunity to seize. And you know why we hear about Rabiul Awwal? Alhamdulillah, it's a good opportunity, seize it. Start some form of ta'aleem in the home. Educate your children about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then, nowadays with the benefit of even online social media, you can find access to material. I'm not going to say to you, you have to listen to a particular sheikh, because someone may say, because we're not even going to tell you who to listen to. Listen to who you can connect to the most, or who you think you can benefit from the most. With azmat, you learn the life of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Today, nowadays, we are not an ummah, we are afrad and we are individuals. What is an ummah? What is ijtima'? Ijtima' is the fikr and the hearts of the people were one. This is what Sahaba were. Someone asked me a question, what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to achieve from your... Wallahi, I'm telling you a real story, I'm not making this up. He goes, Yaar, kin chakro mein pade mein? What are you trying to achieve? Buy job karo, earn some money, build a few houses. In logo ko chodo, kya inke piche pade ho yaar? What are you trying to achieve from the people? And I said one thing. What we want to see is where the ummah left off from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the Sahaba radiyallahu anhu ajma'in. We bring the ummah up to that same sata and that same level again. This is what we want to achieve. Every ummati should have this aspiration that we want to see the ummah once again on that level. Then ahwal changed. Which degree did Umar have? But yet he managed to run a society very, very well. Allah inspired these individuals. Again, I'm not negating education. The thing is, people always take a negative. Don't take a negative. And I have to be defensive and back up what I say, because unfortunately what you say can be misconstrued and misinterpreted. What was the birth of the Prophet? Many of us know Bara Rabiul Awwal. That's what is common. That's what we commonly hear. I will leave the ikhtilaf there. I'm not even going to talk about it. But simply, tell me the name of his children. Tell me, we know Allah Maaf made children of actors, children of football players. Tell me the name of the daughters of the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, because they were pretty old. Tell me about the sons of the Prophet ﷺ who passed away. How many sons did he have? Tell me, what was his favorite food? What was his favorite clothing? What was his favorite item to drink? What was his libas when people used to come and see him? Well, tell me, okay, forget all the names of the wives. Tell me just 3 names. Okay, tell me the Ashara Mubashara, the people who he gave a glad tidings to of Jannah within one gathering. My dear respected brothers, Allah ki qasam, we cannot cry enough of the lack of ta'alluq this ummah has with this Prophet. We don't know Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And that is why when we're told that your Prophet is a madman and a lunatic, we fall victim because we don't have no knowledge. It's easy to be told that your Prophet was an extremist. Your Prophet, ma'adallah, he was a lunatic. And we fall victim, we have no knowledge. So what do we say? So there's 2 ways how you interact, how you respond. Some people get angry and they say, don't you dare speak about my Prophet like that. And some people have a cool mind and say, no, hold on a second. Let me give you one, and I'll just mention this last thing and then I stop. This thing we constantly hear, isn't it? Rasul, I told you first, Allahumma hadi, oh Allah, guide the people of those. You know, there was an instance, and wallahi I can share, if I just had time, once a month bayan is not enough, subhanAllah. The pain, I would love to do bayan every single day. Anyway, what was I saying about Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Mentions lamma kusirat rubaiyat Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is in the incident of Uhud. That his tooth, Mubarak tooth, had broken. And then what happened was, his head was cut. Blood was flowing onto his face. This is the manzar that the Ravi is mentioning. And then in that instance when blood was dripping, some Sahaba radiallahu anhu said, "Oh Prophet of Allah, don't you think it's enough now? Make dua for these mushrikeen that Allah should destroy them." He's in an instance now where one drop of blood is dropping. Wallahi, every single one of you and me sitting here right now, us put together was not worth even that one drop of blood. Let me tell you this now. Forget even us lot here, the whole of the world was not enough. We could not even make muqabala with such an individual who Allah selected. Anyway, what happened was Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was told, why don't you make dua for them? Tell Allah to finish them off, destroy them. And he's in that predicament. All he had to do was raise his hand and say, Ya Allah, deal with them, please. Now we've had enough now. In Badr, what happened? The Muslims were 313. How many Quraysh of Makkah they were? One dua, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made dua. Allah sent 5,000 angels for Nusrat. Why couldn't Allah done the same thing? Of course he could have done. But you see, the dua wasn't at that time, it wasn't for his own personal gain. Because now he got hurt, he didn't want to make the dua. By the qasam of Allah, had he made the dua, Allah would have destroyed all of them people and all the land around. If not even more. So what happened was, when he was said, make dua against these people, what did he say? He said, Inna Allah ta'ala lam yab'athni ta'anan wa la la'anan walakin ba'athani da'iyatan wa rahmah. My Allah didn't send me as someone who does landan, galiyan, and swears and ikhtilaf. Forget making dua for the non-Muslim. When one Mullah was telling me, I went to give somebody salam, and he pulled his hand, he goes, Oi nahi, oi asi twade naal nahi salam kar sakne. Sada salam nahi ralde koi nahi. You follow a different school of thought. I can't give you salam. There is the halal bhi jaiz nahi. Even if you make zabah on an animal, I can't even eat your food. Here Rasul is not making dua for the mushrikeen. And I finish off on this incident in 120. When he was said this, he said, Allah Ta'ala didn't send me as someone who curses, someone who sends la'nah. Allah Ta'ala sent me as an individual who is a da'i, and I invite towards Allah, and I'm a rahmah for all of people. And then he mentioned, at that moment when he was at his lowest ebb, he made, Ya Allah, Allahumma hdi qawmi fa innahum la ya'lamun. Oh Allah, please, my people, they don't know the maqam of me. They don't know who I am. Oh Allah, please guide them all to Islam. Guide them all to Islam. And this was the dua that the Nabi of Rahmat made, who you and I are unaware of. Every day the janazah of the sunnah leaves our homes. How many times do we look down upon the sunnah? How many times we have people, they start coming attached to deen, and people, mashallah, you see them lengthening their beards and so on. And then people force them, take this off. How are you going to get in society? How are you going to get by? The sunnah of Rasul have become so cheap that we look down upon anyone who wants to follow even an iota of deen. We look down upon the people. We think this is a form of extremism. How can you in England, brother? A friend of mine who was working in the hospital as an interpreter, he said, one of the doctors came to me, and I was wearing, it was Jummah, I was wearing a white thobe, I had imamah full. I said, because I've got to go to Jummah. So I prepared to go to work like this. When one of the Muslim doctor, he saw me, he said, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. He goes, Anta ramal wa jamal. Who you are is sand and camel. He goes, you dress like this? This is England, brother. This ain't Saudi. And then another doctor came. He goes, oh, Mr. Muhammad, mashallah, nice dress today. Very nice dress. While this guy was dissing, this guy was praising. The person who looked down was the Muslim, and the person who praised was who were non-Muslim. But this is our miskeen mentality, that we make zaba on everything. Nothing has become important about the deen of Allah. This is why we say use this month as an opportunity to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and try and educate our children and ourselves on the seerah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as much as we possibly can. Use this opportunity, inshallah. May Allah ta'ala help us and guide us and assist us. If anything which we've said is incorrect, may Allah forgive us and give us guidance onto haqq. May Allah ta'ala accept us all. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah al-akram alladhi khalaqa al-insan wa karram. وعلمه من البيان ما لم يعلم فسبحان الذي لا يحصى امتنانه باللسان ولا بالقلم ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمد عبده ورسوله الذي أوتي بجوامع الكلم وكرائم الحكم ومكارم الشيم صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه نجوم طريق الأمم. أما بعد، فإن علم الشرائع والأحكام هو أعظم فرائض الإسلام، ومن ثم أمر به وحض عليه تعليما وتعلما. فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بلغوا عني ولو آية. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له بطريق إلى الجنة. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام من يرد الله به خيرا يفقهه في الدين. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام إن العلماء ورثة الأنبياء وإن الأنبياء لم يورثوا دينارا ولا درهما وإنما ورثوا العلم فمن أخذه وأخذ بحظ وافر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أمن هو قانت آناء الليل ساجدا وقائما يحذر الآخرة ويرجو رحمة ربه قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب. بارك الله لنا ولكم لجميع المسلمين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنه سميع مجيب الدعوات. الحمد لله أستعينه وأستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا، وبين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد، ومن يعصيهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك، وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات، وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر، وأشدهم في أمر الله عمر، وأصدقهم حياء عثمان، وأقضاهم عليه، وفاطمة سيدة نساء أهل الجنة، والحسن والحسين سيد شباب أهل الجنة، وحمزة أسد الله وأسد رسوله. اللهم اغفر العباس وولد مغفرة ظاهرة وباطنة لا تغادر ذنبا. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم افتح أقفال قلوبنا بذكرك. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى، وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي، يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروني ولا تكفرون. أقيموا الصلاة.